Hello, everybody. This is Mike Young with aPlantBasedDiet.org, and I am back with a video here to talk about weight management, weight control. It's a real touchy subject, I know that, but it's a subject that's important we need to talk about because it's specifically weight management, weight control on a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, because thankfully, vegan diets and plant-based diets have become more popular. You've got more options of foods everywhere, but unfortunately, most of these new options are what we would consider processed, heavily processed foods or junk foods that are available out there. So let's start with the basics. Now behind me, if you can see right behind here, is a BMI chart. Now you can find not just a chart, but you can calculate your own BMI. That's important. Let's get a baseline for everybody. You need to know this. If you're at all concerned with your weight, you need to know what your BMI is. You need to know where you are. You need to know where you're going to go, how to get there, and why you want to get there. Like, what's going on? So just go to any search engine on the internet and type in NIH, that's National Institutes of Health, NIH BMI calculator. Those three words, NIH BMI calculator, and you'll find the National Institutes of Health BMI. Basically, it's type in your height, type in your weight, and you get your BMI. Like for me, I'm almost 6'2", I'm almost 160. So if you look on the chart behind me here, 6'2", 160. Actually, I can tell you that the green guy over here, he's about 150 at 5'11". So I'm like 160 at 6'1", 6'2". So I'm right in the middle of the normal range. I'm like about BMI about 22. That's what that equates to. Now we don't have the numbers on here, but you'll find the numbers online, especially when you figure out and calculate your own BMI. But over here on the obese side right there, that's about 200 pounds. So 200 pounds and 5'11", you're obese, believe it or not. I mean, I've always thought that I was skinny, and I guess I am compared to the average American anyway, but my skinniness is just right in the normal size. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, obese is not, I was wrong about that. Overweight, I see my head, my big head was blocking it. Overweight is what is over there at 200 pounds and 5'11". Obese is another, like you're probably like 230 to get up there. But you're overweight. If you're about 200 pounds and you're a guy and you're an average height, you're overweight. That's just a reality. But the average American is overweight. So someone like me looks too thin when in reality, I'm right in the middle of normal. Now, why do you need to do this, and how do you properly control your weight? Why do you need to get into this normal range? A lot of people will say, oh, well, that's BMI. See that normal range over there, that green? That's all outdated. You don't really need to do that stuff anymore. And there's other factors. And yes, there are other factors. But if you look, I mean, at the overweight category there, that's one. This is like 150. This is 200. This is maybe, this might be 230, 240. And then I'm not sure what the weight is over here. It might be more than that, but it doesn't take much to you quickly ramp up once you get about 200 pounds. Almost everybody should be under 200 pounds. Truly, there shouldn't be anybody over 200 pounds unless you are taller than this chart, which ends at 6'3". And of course, most people aren't. So how can you eat to maintain your weight? Well, the ideal is a whole food plant-based diet, or a whole plant food diet more descriptively. When I say plant-based, really you want to get rid of all the animal products for many, many reasons, including weight control. But if you go from animal products to just plant products and you're just kind of eating what's available, you may end up gaining weight. A lot of people do, and that's why I'm making this video, because it's a sad state right now that this is happening, because there's so many products out there, so much junk foods that are out there for plant-based and vegan diets. So what you want to make sure you're eating is mostly whole plant foods, minimally processed foods. So basically everything you eat's got to have some real naturally occurring fiber in it and be low calorie density. And in order to be low calorie density, even if it's whole plants, you have to go really easy on the nuts, seeds, and avocados. You got to keep that in mind, all right? Really easy. So, and it's so easy to overdo that, because any kind of vegan cheese products or vegan ice creams, those types of things, they're based mainly on nuts or oil. Nuts, if they want to say they're all natural, they'll put nuts, but nuts is so high in fat. Ideally, you want to keep your percentage of calories from fat below 20%, 20% maximum. Unless you, of course, are running marathons every day, or working out every day, or working outside, you're doing physical labor. That's not your average person. Your average person's got to stay on the low end, 20% or below. So you've got to avoid any kind of highly processed foods. Smoothies are okay, because smoothies is really just blending as opposed to processing like juices. Juices end up becoming very high calorie and low fiber. You don't want to have that for a long term. Juices are useful if you have some severe cardiovascular issues short term, but that's about it. So you don't want, that's too high of a processing. And of course, oils, like we talk about in our healthy vegan food, our certified healthy vegan food that we have through our nonprofit, that it really stipulates that something has no oil as an added ingredient, or no things into it that are really made out of oil. If you're talking about a dish or something like that, like a lot of these faux products like butters and things like that, they're mostly oil. And it's just a incredibly high calorie dense, as well as being completely devoid of fiber. So if you have foods that are high calorie density and devoid of fiber, like some of the examples I gave you, what happens is you don't feel full, because you require a very small amount of food to make all your calories for the day, and then you don't have any fiber in there, which fills your stomach up and is really not digestible for the most part, passes through and cleans you out. So you're just going to keep eating. You're going to overeat, and it's got nothing to do with controlling your emotions or anything. If you think about it, it has to do with just eating the wrong foods. You want to eat the right foods, because if you're eating the wrong foods, you probably will never have the willpower to eat the small, tiny portions that you're going to be entitled to in order to keep your weight here, as we say, under 200 pounds. All right, if you're a guy, this is for guys anyway, because I'm a guy. Women are usually generally lower weight to be the same BMI, because women are generally not as tall as men in general. Of course, we're speaking in very general terms. But if you're a guy, you've got to be under 200 pounds for sure. So you've got to eat these plant foods full of fiber, not processed, okay? And like these, all kinds, any kind of processing is bad, because you're not going to get any of the fiber, like even these protein powders and things, no fiber in them. So get the fiber, get the low calorie density, and even certain things such as pastas and rices are okay as long as they're brown, whole grains, and of course you cook them. You got to cook them. You're not crazy. You're not going to eat them raw. So they'll have water added into them, so that'll lower the calorie density. Any kind of dried out fruits too is another bad one, like raisins and dates. They become very, very high calorie density. Although they're good to use as a sweetener, especially dates, instead of processed sugars, they're definitely good, but you got to add water back. Usually you need to soak them or use very little, and don't do it very often. So why else? What happens? Like if you are a guy in 200 pounds, what is happening inside? Well, in almost all cases, you're eating too high of a fat diet. Okay, so that fat is building up. You're carrying that fate. It is your fate. You're carrying that fat, which becomes your fate. You are going to get sick. You're going to develop all kinds of large portions of your body around your waist, which are basically fat reserves that you're going to carry with you. Whatever fat you eat is a fat you wear or carry with you on a daily basis. So you're basically lugging around a bunch of extra stuff that you don't need, unless you plan on going through a period of starvation in the near future. And as we all know, nobody does that anymore. The problem, it seems like, in the past, I felt like in the past, if you didn't have enough money to pay your bills, you were all starving and super thin. But it seems to be the opposite, because it seems like if folks don't have enough money to pay their bills, what's the cheapest way to eat? Well, it's usually these high processed junk food. So people who don't have money tend to, unfortunately, weigh even more than people that do have money. Because it does cost a little bit more to eat this way. It absolutely does. And that's something that people need to work on for sure. But let's just say, like, when you bring your weight down, you're basically getting rid of the fat on your body that you're carrying with you. And it is true that if you eat properly, if you eat a whole plant diet, and specifically organic, of course, is best, organic whole plants, you can probably eat as much as you want. Again, with the caveat of very, very little nut seeds and avocados, because you don't want to have many of those, or products made from nut seeds and avocados, such as Lara bars. I used to eat those all the time. And it's not just your weight. Okay, back here, this is going to affect if you're up here 200 pounds or more, it's going to negatively affect your blood pressure, your cholesterol. And even if you're only eating plant products and not animal products, you can still significantly lower your cholesterol level by getting rid of the high fat foods, anything with 20% or more of calories from fat. And like I said, these Lara bars fit into that description. I lowered my cholesterol last year. It was significant. It was from about 149 to about 116. And that all happened in about 3 weeks' time, because I stopped eating Lara bars. That was it. I was only eating plants. I'd only eat plants for years. And I thought, I had the healthiest diet as well, mostly whole plants, but I was throwing in too many nuts. It's just as simple as that. It's the fats. The fats clog you up internally. They do all kinds of damage internally. We're not going to dive into the science, specific science on that. Just know as a general fact, you want to keep the fat out. Most of the diseases that are affecting the most of the people out there, such as type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular issues and high blood pressure, we'll get that can be sodium as well, but are because there's too much fat circulating through the inside of your body. And how does it get there? You eat it. So just don't eat it. That's all you have to do. Stick with the plant. And if you need some kind of motivation, some kind of positive peer pressure, that's what we're here for. Click down below. If you're watching us on YouTube, we have a link to our worldwide group, aPlantBasedDiet.org, where we talk about these kind of things. We got local groups too. You can find them all on our website, aPlantBasedDiet.org. We've got all kinds of resources there for you to hopefully help you with this. And even, especially if you're the only one that you know around you that's doing this, you really need these kind of resources, and they will really help you for sure. It's the positive peer pressure that's going to get you through. And if you need help individually, because this is just like a general overview of weight here and weight management and why it's so important. Hopefully I'm giving you a few really key points, good takeaways where this will motivate you if you keep this kind of in your back of your mind. And tag friends, share people, give me your comments, anything. Let's keep the conversation going. But if you, in addition to that, if you still need help, I have a nutrition coaching business. I'm a lifestyle nutritionist, and the name of my business is Forever Young Nutrition Coaching. That's foreveryoungnutritioncoaching.com. That takes you straight to our Facebook page. You can schedule something there. We offer the first consultation for free. We do it anywhere. It's all video chat based or audio call based. So of course we can do it anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter if you're walking down the street. We know your lives are busy, and we know you have distractions, and most of these distractions are not good for your health. So I'm here to help you to make sure that you stay on track. Just keep in touch with me, and I know you can be successful. This stuff is not complicated in terms of what needs to be done, and hopefully this short video explains that. It's not really complicated. It's really more of a mental or psychological issue for everyone. No one is immune from that. Even me, I need to make sure to surround myself with the right people, and you can too when you get in our communities. Hopefully that'll be very, very helpful for you. So that's the end of this video, and I hope that I wish you success on your weight maintenance or loss journey, depending upon where you are with that. Keep in touch. Make sure to share this video with people, and we will see you in the next one. Look forward to reading your comments. Bye-bye, everybody.